Right. We are live. Welcome, guys, to Toaru podcast number 10. And I'm going to send all the social media clicks right now. There we go. And we have 3 guests this time. And the hidden guest, which is Kyrass, who has graced us with his presence once again.
Yo.
Yeah, you just randomly showed up, didn't you?
I was like, oh, there's a podcast. I'll hijack it a little bit. And then I kind of just bust down the door.
I know, too busy playing Final Fantasy. And you were like, oh, yeah, Toaru podcast is on. I better attend.
That too. Either way. Like, shit, it's today. Today's the day.
Yeah. Especially when I spammed everyone with links and you showed up late.
I didn't show up late. You didn't let me in.
Nah. I'm just kidding, obviously.
Oh, we know.
Oh, we've got a Malcolm fan in the chat.
Yeah. Can we go ahead and just ban her?
Oh, that's a bit.
He wants to get rid of the fangirl.
This is your only fan.
Yeah.
Not his only
biggest Malcolm fan in the world. Oh, too kind. Nah. I was being mean on purpose.
Don't be mean. You got to be the mean one.
I know. I should be a nice guy. All right. We are going to discuss many things related to this dying franchise because we are the biggest Toaru podcast of all time, because we are the only Toaru podcast of all time. Isn't that right?
I was about to say, aren't we? Right. I was like, do we have a copycat? We have a knockoff somewhere?
There could be. I don't know. Maybe Trash Taste has like an offshoot of their podcast where they solely talk about Index from Railgun, where it's just Giguk ranting on about it, and Connor and Joey are just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's him every time he talks about Fate or Toaru, and they're just like, what are you talking about?
For real. Anyway, enough rambling on about nonsense. There is an important occasion coming up next week. If you count it as next week, because I believe the week starts on Monday and then it resets the following Monday.
Is that how that works over there?
Yeah, because Sunday, isn't that like the Sabbath day, like traditionally with like Christianity? So like, oh yeah, you have a rest day and then you get back to action.
As far as I know, on the calendar, Sunday comes first, so that's why it's the first day.
Yeah, but who the fuck works on Sunday though? Like,
I mean, why is it got to be working?
Work.
All right, whatever. Okay, so to cut to the important stuff, Railgun's 15th anniversary is on the 25th or 26th, depending on where you live. Because, time zones with Japan and shit. So this is going to be an interesting time for the fan base. We have had a few announcements already about what's coming up. So we've had the first volume of not the Railgun manga. Fucking hell. I mean, if there was the first volume of the Railgun manga already, then we'd be living in 2007. But there is the first volume of the Mental Art manga. And we are also getting a Railgun side story. So that should be side story number 4, unless you don't count Cold Game, which isn't numbered for whatever reason, I guess, because it's not a full volume. But I'm assuming this will be side story 4.
Cold Game's the only one Heimera drew the art for, I think, right?
Yeah, that's true. Because, like, is it Fuyukawa?
Yeah, Fuyukawa did art for the main 3.
Yeah, and that's kind of funny. I guess it gives Fuyukawa a chance to draw some of the magic stuff as well, since, spoiler alert, if you haven't read like the other 3 Railgun side stories, they do have somewhat of a magic element involved in each of those. So I guess that does give Fuyukawa a chance to, draw like magic side characters. But yeah.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about. So I've never read any of the of the Railgun SS light novels, and I was kind of surprised to see them announce it ahead of the actual anniversary itself. I didn't know if that meant that's the only announcement we were getting. They were just doing it ahead of time, or maybe they have something bigger planned for the actual anniversary day. But as someone who's never read the Railgun SS light novels, I was wondering what you guys thought about them. Like, how were they received?
I think generally positive. I think the only one some people weren't into was the third Railgun SS.
I'm quite surprised at that because on Twitter I see quite a few people really liking Railgun SS3. I thought it was okay. The one I'm like a bit, that's kind of pointless in a way, is the second one. I mean, some of the end stuff is relevant to Index, but for the most part, I thought the plot kind of dragged.
The second one, which one was it that they hinted at the end of Railgun S? Wasn't that the second one?
The end of Railgun S?
Yeah.
What,
they were
they
no at the on the final episode, whenever they finish the whatever that arc was, the terrible one. They go, all right, let's go to I can't remember.
Silent Party.
I can't remember. Yeah, Silent Party. I can't remember what the city is called.
There's Liberal Arts City.
Yeah, Liberal Arts City. Okay, yeah.
That's the first one. Yeah, and then the second one is, I forgot the name of the city to go to in the second one, but it's like this Russian city where it's like advanced technology, like all across like the buildings.
The Science Academy City.
Yeah, I haven't read the Railgun SS's or the first two since 10 years ago or whenever they released. So
10 years ago?
Bruh, it's been forever.
10 years?
Not 10 years, but whenever they first.
So that was just exaggerating.
Yeah, exaggeration.
Huh? How long ago did they come out?
Well, if I remember correctly, they launched with one of them launched with the Index 2 Japanese releases. Can't remember exactly when. I'll check real quick.
I mean, that gives me an idea. So if I just wanted to read SS, you said it's SS4 when it comes out. Is that an issue, or would I have to read the other ones before?
Oh yeah, no. SS1 came out in 2009, and SS2 came out in 2011.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, the Railgun SS volumes are pretty episodic. Like, they don't follow on from each other. They're all like separate stories. So I'm assuming it's going to be the same case with this one, because I don't think it'll follow on from SS3. Although I could be wrong. You never know. Since like SS3 pretty much was concluded nicely in a way. Like, there was no real loose ends. But to be honest, like, my favorite one is SS1, because I liked how that expanded with the Magic Side stuff we did get in that volume. Obviously, I won't spoil if you've not read it, but out of the three, SS1's my favorite, then probably SS3, and then SS2.
Yeah, I think the first one is the liberal arts one, right? I've heard people saying they want like an anime adaptation of that volume in particular, so it is definitely something I want to read.
Yeah, well, they dropped it, they talked about it in the anime, so like the fact that they skipped over it entirely is what blows my mind.
I didn't remember them talking about it in the anime. You said they talked about it in Railgun S.
Final episode of Railgun S. During the final scene, they're like, "Let's go to Liberal Arts City" or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
I didn't even remember that.
They were even. They even
probably because towards, just sleeping during the Silent Party arc is just like a given.
Maybe it was like a post-credit scene.
I don't remember if it was post-credits. They were even walking towards the space elevator at the end. because they sort of retconned it in at that time.
Yeah, they retconned it in with the movie.
Well, they
Oh,
showed it
that
at
was
the end
kind
of Railgun S too.
I
That
just
or
don't-
I'm like, I've completely made all this up in my head.
I mean, I believe you. You could gaslight me, and I just believe you.
I just remember in the movie where they're like, Index is like, "What do you mean?" And Toma's like, "It's always been there. What are you talking about?" Remember that time, and that time, and that other time, and then they just fit in the background of like a
Yeah.
bunch of different scenes, and I'm just like, yeah, that's how I would do it, honestly.
Yeah. My personal opinion is that the Railgun SS volumes aren't really essential material unless you're obviously really into Railgun and even Index to some extent, since they do overlap surprisingly, which you wouldn't necessarily anticipate from the title of them being, Railgun side stories, but they do have a decent amount of Index stuff in them. So yeah, but I don't think they're like essential for like understanding the characters or anything like that, but they are nice additions if you fancy to read them, I guess.
They are side stories.
Yeah, side stories of a side story. It's my favorite thing from Toaru. Unironically, it's kind of funny every time, but I actually do like the fact that we literally get spin-offs of spin-offs.
Astral Buddy in a nutshell.
Pretty much. And I really enjoyed
And
Astral
Mental
Buddy.
Out. Yeah, Astral Buddy's really good. Speaking of Astral Buddy, will we get an anime next week?
An anime
So-
next week?
Well, I don't mean like it's going to be released next week, because that would be, a bit mind-blowing. I mean, will we get some
trailer.
kind of announcement next week? I mean, I think Astral Buddy is the most likely adaptation we would get announced if there is going to be an announcement. But I want to be Mr. Positive. I want to say, oh yeah, we're definitely going to get some kind of anime. But I think the probability of that's very low. If like that's the realist in me is saying that. So
Do you think it would just be Railgun related announcements or Toaru in general?
yeah, because I know some people are saying like, oh, we might get Index season 4, but I'm like thinking, would we get that for the 15th anniversary of Railgun specifically? Like, I don't know.
What if we get another movie?
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah,
wouldn't
I mean,
mind
the
another
first one
movie.
performed well.
Yeah, it would be good to have like that really good animation, because they'll definitely do that, because even an Index movie had really good animation. So they can't really give the excuse of, oh yeah, Index season 3. We're just gonna not put as much effort in this time.
Would you want it to be an original story again, or would you want them to do one of the novels?
Me personally,
For anyone.
I mean, probably the novels. I mean, I kind of feel like all of the original material we've gotten hasn't really flown over all that well with people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like that would just kind of be a safe bet if they were just going to adapt like the SS novels or something. I had actually thought of maybe they do an Astral Buddy movie, but then I realized that would probably not offer enough time. I don't think, unless they want to do like a 2-part movie.
They could do a
I
Dark
thought that'd
Matter
be
movie.
pretty cool.
They
I
could
actually
do an
thought about
OVA.
that as well. I
Dark
think that
Matter
would
movie would be
work
sick.
super well. I don't know if they'd announce that for Railgun. I want to say that when they were tweeting about it, that they were specifying that they would be Railgun related announcements. Just the way the tweets kind of read, even though I know it's Google Translate. That was just kind of the idea that I had, that it was going to specifically be about Railgun and not anything outside of that. But since Astro Buddy does, like even on the cover, it says a certain scientific Railgun Astro Buddy, I figured that probably falls in line, which is why I think everyone is thinking that's kind of more plausible than like a Dark Matter adaptation or Index New Testament anime.
Makes sense. I think, something that's really common for some reason in Japan for some movies relating to like anime and manga and stuff or specifically anime, is they'll do a movie based off like the final arc of the, or like the entire season sometimes of an anime. So you could get a movie that retells the events of World War III, for example, even though it's already been animated, and they sort of just use that. It's a really weird thing that they use to promote another season of an anime.
Like a recap movie sort of thing.
Yeah, like a recap movie to
Yeah.
get people in, not so they don't have to watch an entire season of an anime to get caught
Like
up.
Madoka.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Madoka did that, where I think the first two movies were just readapting the anime, and then the third one was its own thing.
Yeah. So I could
Uh,
see Index doing
yeah.
that, just because it's such a long series that a recap anime movie would make sense.
A recap of like the entire anime, so like all seasons, or
I've seen some of those kinds of movies do that. I wouldn't want Index to do that. I would want it to just be specifically the final arc, because they mess so much up that would be important in the future with World War III and the build up to it, that having a chance to sort of correct some of the stuff or re-input important information, maybe getting a proper Accelerator Toma fight from World War II, 3 would be nice.
yeah.
I
I mean,
I could see them doing that, but it's like if they were gonna recap it, I could see them doing a whole movie, but they would still cut out like a couple of like important context, I think.
Yeah, that would be an unfortunate requirement.
Because they already
Yeah,
did.
I haven't. No, you can go ahead.
Oh, remember from like the first season, they cut out a lot of the side plot or the B plot from the first couple of novels.
Yeah,
Cut out
and like right now
Doppelganger.
in the anime universe, like Toma's precognition just doesn't exist, and that becomes a recurring plot element in NT. And I don't know, they retconned it with him becoming Super Mario and being able to jump 40 feet in the air.
Wait, how did they retcon his intuition?
Yeah, like they removed it from the accelerator fight, and then they never bring it up at all after that. And there was supposed to be in the books like a whole scene dedicated of Lesser I think it was Lesser watching the fight and being like, "Oh, this is." She like explains it from her point of view, like, "Oh, this must be precognition, something that only Toma could properly use. Anyone else with it, just all this."
That was from
information.
their personal fight.
Whoa, wait.
Whoa,
Whoa,
that's
hang on.
damn, that's
You
a
looking?
big super chat.
yo, Yoru. Thank you very
Oh.
much, but you didn't do that.
Appreciate the icon you have.
Wait, are
Lady
we splitting
Yorichi.
this too?
I think we
50
will.
bucks.
But
This is a lot more than the 25 cents we were getting last time.
yeah, Yoru. Thank you very much, but you didn't need to do that.
Oh, he said they're going now. Well,
Oh, well, you have a nice
mighty
day.
fine day.
Yeah, and I know this user, so yeah, thank you very much, Yoru, but you didn't need to do that. And we'll talk about that after Yoru.
Dang, well that happened.
Yeah, so I know this person, so it's something I'll discuss with them privately. So yeah, we'll sort that out privately.
All right. Well, something precognition, not an anime. Make movie. That was all I remember.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'd like if something like that happened, but I really don't see. I don't know. I guess I really don't see them just kind of releasing recap movies like that. I guess they could. Definitely not for this Railgun anniversary, but I don't really know. I feel like JC staff doesn't too often do things like that unless I'm really forgetting everything JC staff has ever done. And I guess this is kind of in the territory of like thoughts of a reboot topic that we were going to cover, but I kind of feel as if something like that wouldn't really happen unless there was actually like a studio change, like JC staff lost the rights to adapt the Toaru series, which I don't see happening. But that's kind of the only way I could see something like that happening is if another studio were to pick up Toaru and decided they wanted to go about the series in an entirely different way.
Yeah. My only thing with the whole reboot idea is like there's so much content within Index and Railgun, just the Toaru universe to adapt. And the fact that they waited 7 years just to give us season 3. It would be, if we're going to get a more accurate adaptation, which I would imagine they would do if they're going to go ahead and just reboot the entire series, because making it more accurate would be a pretty different product, I think, from the original. So you're not just watching the same anime.
Yo, Ben Misaka, thank you for the super chat.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
It seems like, I don't know if they would adapt it within a timely manner. So like you have, I mean, what Index is already, the entire series together is like what 100 and it's like more than 150 episodes now or something.
Oh, is it? I thought it was.
Yeah, if you take
like
Index,
110.
Railgun together along with Accelerator, forgot to count Accelerator. Like all of that together is more than 150.
Yeah,
So,
because each of the
176.
Index and Railgun are 25 episodes, so that's 144 right there for all 3 seasons.
Yeah. So plus a movie. So readapting all of it would be such a tall order, and they'd have to do it within like a really timely manner, because otherwise, if they're gonna give us another 7-year wait, like why even bother? Whenever we already have NT completed and we have GT, by the time they got to that, it would be completed too. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, and if they were to actually readapt Index from the beginning accurately, every arc would be stretched out probably pretty considerably longer than, if you look at like season 3 of Index, basically on average every arc got like 3 episodes, which is completely criminal. So every arc in reality would be way longer than what we have now. So if we have like 150 episodes of Toaru now, if everything was actually paced out as it kind of should be according to the source material, like that number could double, and we end up at the same spot in the timeline.
Yeah.
So it's just I think it's really unrealistic. I do see a lot of people asking for an Index reboot, and I kind of just don't see it happening. I feel like your best bet is to just, I guess, keep hoping that the next season will be better, even though that sounds kind of like a doomer thing to say, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe farther down the line it'll be possible, but
Yeah.
at least now I don't see that. I don't see that happening.
To me, the only studio that could realistically do it would be like Toei Animation, because they do long-running anime that never take a season off, like One Piece and stuff. And that would be the only way to get it out in like a timely manner.
Yeah, I can see that. Like just having a continuous sort of Index anime, or I think you had mentioned the idea of just doing a straight up Toaru anime where everything is kind of put together into one long running series, which I think could actually be pretty interesting. I think that I don't know if it'd work as well as a Kamachiverse anime where we just put all of his series into one anime.
I think it just makes marketing and stuff a lot easier from that point of view.
Yeah.
It's already hard enough to get into this series because people are like, do I start with Index or Railgun? And is there an episode order? And they have all these questions. So just having all that pre-done and be like, start with Toaru episode 1 is just like, it sounds like a nice thing to be able to suggest.
I wonder what it'd be called.
I don't know, just a certain universe or something. I don't know.
A certain universal.
Yeah.
Does this mean we're going to get Index and other characters in multiverses?
Yeah, definitely.
He already has his own little multiverse going on, so like.
Then they can work all of Kamachi's other books into it and do the crossovers like he did for Heavy Object and just everything. He's already got his own multiverse going on.
Really
It's
does.
not a stretch.
Really, if they wanted to capitalize more on it, they should have made it into a gacha.
Should have made a good gacha game.
Make the bank.
I'm still shocked they haven't done any of his other books in the Index gacha.
Probably they just wouldn't make any money off of it because none of them are as popular. You know, I say that, but didn't Imaginary Fest just do this really bizarre crossover with some completely random seasonal
generic
isekai?
Isekai 298.
Yeah. I don't even know the name of the series. That was just kind of out of nowhere.
Should isekai be banned and be considered as a crime against humanity?
There are some good ones.
Don't say that. No, you can't say that.
Technically, you're striving for utopia.
Stop being reasonable. Like being unreasonable is way more fun.
I am a Mushoku Tensei fan. I read the web novels, so like I will support that.
I haven't peeped it yet.
It's I highly recommend it.
I've seen people go crazy about it on Twitter, and that means only one or two things. It's either going to have really good animation, but the plot's going to be shit, or the plot's actually going to be good and it's worth its time. So we will see. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've kind of been watching more like classic anime rather than stuff airing at the moment.
Yeah, what have I been watching?
Kind of the same. I get tired of the seasonal sort of hype. I usually just like to watch something that's kind of older and already out, and I can just watch at my own pace.
Only good isekai is the English dub of Garzy's Wing.
What is that? What is that?
It's from the creator of Gundam. It's oh man, it's on YouTube. You'll just have to you'll have to watch it. Garzy's Wing. I can't remember how it's spelled, but it's like one of the first, I guess you could consider isekai anime. But actually, some of the concepts in it, I think, are actually pretty decent in terms of originality. Some of it's more original than most isekai are these days. Like the main character, rather than just being sent to another world, his soul gets like cut in half, and he has to communicate with his soul, his body in our world, and with his like isekai body, and they have to work together to help him survive.
It's like a lot of work.
Yeah, so like the real life body will be like, oh, make gunpowder. I'm going to do some research so you know how to make it. So he's not just like all knowledgeable of our world. Like
Google how to make gunpowder, so I know how to do it in this fantasy world.
Yeah, but some of the concepts are interesting, but it's a terrible anime. It's easily one of the worst anime ever made. But the dub is hilarious because it's also incredibly terrible.
It sounds fun. I like watching some things that are so bad that they're good. Probably a little too much.
Oh yeah,
so that does sound like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's only like 3 episodes, I think, but they're like 40-minute episodes.
Oh, 40-minute episodes.
Jesus Christ.
Yo, does this mean Gazi's wing is the great grandfather of Isekai and Mushoku Tensei is not? The internet has lied to me all this time.
Yeah, for real. In all honesty,
It's a
though,
conspiracy.
yeah, probably. There's a lot of anime that would technically be isekai that people don't acknowledge as isekai, but Super Mario's isekai.
Oh my god.
Mario's isekai?
Sure, I mean he's like a Brooklyn plumber in the Mushroom Kingdom.
If we're talking isekai, it would have to be the original the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Yeah.
Oh,
Swing your arms from side to side. Come on, do the Mario. Let's go. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
So Mario's actually the grandfather of isekai.
Nintendo, it all comes back.
has
Can you-
Kamachi made an isekai? I feel like he had.
He
Yes.
made,
Wait,
well, it wasn't
Isn't-
technically an isekai. Are you talking about the one with the female protagonist, the one with like the orc thing? I can't even Bobo or
Is it
whatever.
I don't know.
Boo
who I'm
Boo?
talking about.
Boo Boo. Yeah.
hey, boo-boo.
I don't think that one was technically an isekai. It was more just fantasy because I don't think they
Oh.
were transported to another world. Like he talked about it like it was isekai, but I only like it's one of the few Kamachi books that I actually just straight up dropped because I didn't care for it.
Oh,
But I'm pretty sure
Sacrilege.
it was just a fantasy setting. I don't remember anything like actually like from another world.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't mind. I just think we need more actual fantasy anime, and not everything needs to be an isekai.
That's what bugs me is because like in half, like most of isekai, if you just remove the fact they were from our world originally, like nothing changes.
Yeah,
Just
it's
say,
just-
oh, they're a
pretty much,
genius magician, and it's the same exact concept. Like nothing changes. There's
Like,
no like
there's-
desire to even make use of the fact that they're from our world. Like it's a terrible anime, but at least or not terrible, but it's like the most generic isekai anime, but at least in another world with my smartphone actually made use of the fact he was from another world.
But you mean
um,
Pokemon Arceus?
Yeah, exactly. Because like most isekai, it's like, oh, I'm in another world. Time for me to never desire to go back home, think about my friends or family, not care about the fact that I'm used to living in this posh, like modern day lifestyle, and now I'm forced to live like a citizen of the Middle Ages. It's like there's no like they don't make use of the isekai setting, and that's what bugs me. Or like the fact that it's from
We
our
don't
world.
talk about Ragnarok Bottom. Then Mixago, we don't talk about that. I
Also,
watched it, and I wish I could unwatch it.
Is that the one where
Come
like
on.
everyone calls him like Big Brother and stuff?
Yes, I wish I could unwatch that show.
Also, Kamachi makes fun of Isekai in GT3.
Yeah,
Although that's not a spoiler.
Oh,
That's
does
like a minor joke. Yeah. He. I mean, I can talk about it, but obviously it's nothing to do with the plot, so I'm sure people won't mind. So I don't think it counts as a spoiler. But yeah, in like GT3, there's this character who's like a middle-aged virgin who lives with his mum and dad, and he's like, "Oh, I wish I was an isekai character." And he basically just rants on about being an isekai character. So it's like basically just filling the stereotype nicely.
Oh, I love it.
That's great. You want the stereotype? Here you go.
Yeah, for
Basically.
someone like Kamachi that kind of, in my view, breaks a lot of rules and doesn't particularly follow a lot of trends, I can totally see him wanting to take shots at isekai.
yeah.
Because Kamachi's based. Like, what can we say?
He is.
Even in like his novels that I don't care for, like mentioned the Boo Boo one, the one about the cutie Kunoichis or whatever it was called.
Oh,
Cutie cutie.
I remember that.
Even in those, like even if I don't like them, there's generally something in them that's fairly creative and separates them from the standard generic light novel fare.
You're just coping because you like them secretly.
Yeah, that's actually it. I do like.
What's
I
the
would
other
admit it. I like the zombie little sister.
Oh,
Oh, God.
that
Yeah.
I remember that
I
show.
can admit I like that. I've got no issues.
Also, you want to know the most base thing Kamachi's ever done?
What is that?
Or written, I should say. Well, I think I saw it like on Twitter one time. I think it's from like a heavy object volume, and I think like was it heavy object? I can't remember, but it was some series of his, and like I think like the Kadokawa building gets attacked or something, or like destroyed, and
Oh no.
and people were theorizing, oh, he's done this because of how they treated Index 3.
Oh my gosh.
It's so bad. It's like how can he get away with this? Like somebody stop him.
Find me a more base light novel author. I can't find him.
Honestly, yeah. He is pretty base.
So there's also a radio drama thing that's coming out for the anniversary.
There is.
Full Mental Out. I think you get it with a special edition because you can pre-order volume 1, either regular edition, which is just a volume, but if you get a special edition, you also get this CD radio drama. And I think you mentioned, Mal, that it's half an hour long.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, and the cover, in fact, has been released today. I'll probably post it on my community feed tomorrow, maybe, after the podcast. And yeah, it's got Junko on it, it's got Shoko on it, and it's got Makigami from Shoko's clique, who's in Astral Buddy and the Mental Out manga. So I'm assuming the radio drama will focus on these three, and I think it's like a drone thing and like the shadow, like beneath their feet. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah. But yeah, what do we think about this? Oh, we got super chat. Thank you. T won't do. Thank you very much for the super chat.
Man, that's
Interesting
very.
username.
British name.
I was gonna say that's very anti-British.
It's
I'm glad we
tormenting
both
me.
thought that.
Trying to torment me. See, they know my tea cravings.
Anyways, well, I'll say that I had to pass. I was gonna buy the Mental Out volume that comes with the CD drama, even though it's only in Japanese. But you'd have to buy it from like I think you guys were buying it from Buyee, which is like a Japanese sort of like proxy website or something. I'm not exactly sure. But then I was going to do it. And then Tony said the shipping would be like $20-$30 or something just for that. I'm not going in
I'm not
debt.
sure if it'll be that much. Like that's I think whenever he ordered, he said he ordered like in bulk with a bunch of manga and stuff. So I assume, I mean, I'll let you know how much it costs me whenever it comes in. Because they haven't received it at their warehouse yet, and it's still on like pre-order. But they'll charge me for it whenever they finalize or they get it in. But I don't think it'll be that much, I hope, unless like they made it out of titanium or something and it's heavy.
Yeah, I'm not ready to go homeless for Toaru just yet. It might be one day. I'm not blowing that option off the table.
Speaking of ridiculous import charges, I ordered like the Accelerator black coffee, and it's actually like the first Toaru related video I'd made on the channel.
Yeah,
and yeah, that cost me like, I don't know, £70 maybe, and I don't know how much that is in dollars, but I'll look it up now.
When I ordered the third Chimera art book,
$95.
No, wait, that was just for the shipping?
Yeah, I think it was. No, I think that was all costs included. So that was like, I think like the actual coffee cost like 10 quid, so about $15 maybe. But then it was like £50 worth of shipping. Like,
Christ, I just bought you some from Japan when I was there.
Yeah, funny enough, someone did like bring back some of like the actual branded coffee, the accelerated drinks, and like the OP. Like someone actually, yeah, if it was Jeru who's appeared on the podcast before, and he he gave that to me when I met up with him, which was
Was
nice
it
of him.
good?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It was pretty nice, to be fair.
Hey, nice. Yeah, I remember ordering the third Hymera art book. It was like $50 for the art book plus their like order fee. And then I like got the charge for how much it would cost for them to ship it to me. And it was like $50. So I paid like over $100 altogether for it. But I didn't use Bai for that one. So I'm hoping Bai is a bit more fairly priced. And it shouldn't cost as much because it's not as heavy as or large as the art book is, but not the best first experience ordering.
No, it's not. I feel like it costs me less to go and buy my figures in Japan and pay for another bag on the flight than it does to buy anything and ship it here.
Yeah. But I mean, usually I'd buy my stuff off eBay from somebody like if you can find it on eBay, usually from like a Japanese vendor, it's a whole lot cheaper than using one of the middlemen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, there
that's
are
what I
apps.
planned on doing.
There are like apps and stuff you can use, but like it's still like expensive.
But like worst case scenario, if you still want to support it, because I think it is important that we support Railgun, Index, just the franchise in general financially.
Mhm.
If you really want a season 4 or want to see like more Toaru manga get released, you always have the option to like buy it digitally on
Yeah,
Amazon has it. It's only like $5.
you don't even have to. You don't even have to read it. You just
Yeah.
have to buy it.
I mean, chances are you're reading it, reading the scanlations anyways. So
I
Yeah.
read this unofficially, but I'll support the official release anyway.
yeah,
All you pirating manga readers, everyone
Yeah.
here.
because sometimes I'll like see people, they're like, yes, this is my favorite series. I can't wait for season 2. And it's like, did you buy season 1? And they're like,
Oh.
I watched it online for free.
I was like, I bought all the Index Blu-rays. Not them on sale, granted, but still.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I bought them all too. It's just like sometimes it blows my mind whenever people are like demanding season 2, like, yeah, this is my favorite anime, and then they never drop $1 for like the franchise in general.
I've got like the Blu-rays for the first 2 seasons of Railgun and Index, but I'm not sure if like season 3 for Railgun and Index and Excel have been released in Britain yet. Like they probably have, to be fair, since it's been such a long time, but I literally haven't looked. But I probably should buy them at some point.
How do y'all get them? Like, is it through Funimation? Do they have a service out there?
No,
Funimation? I don't think so.
no. Funimation doesn't really like the UK.
I guess now Sony owns Funimation, so it would probably be through one of their subsidiaries.
Yeah. Interestingly, the Index movie is on UK Netflix, but nothing else is.
Gotta use that
Index movie.
VPN
Wait, where's
sponsor
the
that
other
we
stuff?
don't have.
Genius marketing.
Get us a VPN sponsor, then you can watch all the Index you want.
Yeah. True.
I'll lend you my
ExpressVPN.
I'll lend you-
ExpressVPN, sign me up.
Nah, I use North.
I'll
Oh, Nord.
lend
I
you
don't
my
know.
Funimation account, and you can just watch it.
I'm not a VPN expert, so I don't know which is the best.
They're all honestly, I think the best one, if you're wanting it for like privacy and stuff. Excuse me. If you're wanting it for privacy stuff, there's like, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's a much smaller, more private and secure one than Nord and stuff is because of, government bureaucracy stuff in the background. It depends on what you're wanting the VPN for. If it's just for Netflix and stuff, then Nord or Express are perfectly fine.
Fair. Also, we got a super chat from Vile KitKat, aka Last Order, from the Amino days.
Oh,
Hey.
good to see you.
Yes,
Long time
thank you
no
very
see.
much. Yeah, thank you very much for the coffee. I will definitely go to work tomorrow into town, on my lunch break and find one. But yeah, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciated.
I think my username is still the same as it's always been.
You've added Zeds. You didn't always have
That
Zeds,
is for
did you?
censorship.
Oh, right.
Because if I use it in a game, sometimes they'd be like, "You can't use that." And at first, I was just like, "Why?" And then I was like, "Oh." So sometimes, depending, I just add the Z's instead of S's. Yeah, it was.
I mean, you could just say that you're a donkey, because that's technically what an ass is. So,
I ain't no donkey.
Oi, donkey, get out of my swamp.
Get out of me swamp.
When we get a Shrek crossover with Index.
Oh God.
It'll probably be with Boo Boo.
Oh yeah, because he's an ogre, isn't he?
Yeah, he's something. He's like an
I
orc.
swear, if we get a Boo Boo anime, someone needs to put like All-Star AMV. And as soon as there's an action scene with Boo Boo, it goes, somebody must only hits like something, I don't know.
Oh no.
Or charges in.
The horror.
That'd be brilliant. Oh, woo! Shrek Fest! Yeah, Shrek Fest in the chat.
Shrek.
Have any of you guys been to Shrek Fest? Because you live in America, all three of you.
I didn't even know there was a Shrek.
Neither
What?
did
What the hell is Shrek Fest?
Fuck off! You didn't know there's
are you
Shrek
kidding?
Fest.
No, what is that?
Oh. Explain it to us.
Shrek Fest is my dream. It's my reason for living. Like,
Okay,
what
you
guys
gotta
on about?
understand something, Aeon. You live on an island. Okay, we could fit like 20 of your islands in the entire span of the USA.
All right.
So
Yeah,
like
but-
we don't know everything. Like I barely understand what goes on the East Coast and the West
Alright.
Coast.
Okay. UK may be a small island, but we conquered like 3/4 of the world. So give us some respect. Anyway, Shrek. Where's Shrek Fest? It's in like. Let me have a look now. It's in some. Oh, it's in Wisconsin, I think.
Fuck, how do I not know about that?
I thought you were gonna say like LA or something.
Yeah,
No.
but I live close to Wisconsin. How did
Oh,
I
really?
not know about this?
Yes, you can go.
Wisconsin.
Right. So at Shrek Fest, they do like onion eating contests,
What?
like
my
a raw contest and stuff. You can find it all on YouTube.
I thought
you-
they'd hold it in like a Florida swamp.
Honestly,
Oh,
you would
yeah.
think.
Yeah, it's just like a field, from what I'm aware, with like tents. It's kind of like like a proper like festival, but with Shrek themed instead. I guess they have like Shrek themed music and cosplay and stuff. Like,
Based.
yeah.
We need to go there together and have a Toaru podcast episode there.
All right,
Live
guys,
from
live
Shrek
from Shrek Fest this year.
Honestly, that's like my dream to go there one day. Like, not to see like like the famous landmarks in like the US, like Empire State Building or like Golden Gate Bridge, like Statue of Liberty. Nah. Go there for Shrek Fest.
Fuck,
Yeah,
fuck our
that's-
landmarks.
it's-
Shrek is our
Wisconsin
number
doesn't
one
have any
export.
landmarks, but it's got Shrek Fest.
Exactly.
Wisconsin doesn't have much, from what I understand.
I'll be right
I
back.
mean, that's probably why. All right. So I think I'll wait until Malcolm comes back to bring up the point which I wanted to bring up about the special edition.
Oh yeah,
'Cause-
he's our guy for that.
Yeah, because it's to do with like Twitter and stuff. Because I mean, I can mention it now and then mention it again when he comes back. I don't know.
Oh, go for it then.
Okay, so apparently, I think this is what Nogi said. So yeah, Yasuhito Nogi's the mangaka for Astral Buddy.
Yes.
I think he said that the special edition of Mental Out Volume 1 like sold out, like the pre-order for it,
Oh jeez.
Oh,
which is really good because the editor of the Railgun manga, is he called Ogino, I think. He was like, support Mental Out manga, please, because we want
they
this
did
to
it.
be a success. And yeah, so that's promising signs. But I saw like it wasn't like many people who just like a couple individuals on Twitter like saying, "Oh, this is horrible. Why are people like supporting Shokuho?" Like,
Why not?
they were like complaining that it got sold out, and I was like baffled by that. I was like, "Bruh."
It's pretty. It is pretty sad. I really don't understand the people, supposed Toaru fans, actually wanting Shokuho's series to fail because Shokuho Misaki is real and she cheated on them, so that's their payback.
God, that
Oh yeah,
sounds like.
Malcolm's back, I think.
Yeah.
Mal, we're
All right,
talking
I'm
about the.
I'm gonna swap out real quick.
Oh, okay, no worries. Right, yeah, we're talking about the special edition selling out apparently, Kuntanogi, and then the couple of individuals who had to stir up a fuss on Twitter.
Yeah, what's up with the Misaki hate? Is there like any known reason for it or theories?
It's just, I guess it all stemmed from her introduction in the anime, and then it's just exemplified and been blown out of proportions, I guess, from her actions in the light novel. I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the most notable incident that is the 22R incident. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't really get it either. Like, okay, especially now though. Like, so I've been with the fan base forever. Before there was a fan base. So I remember like reading the day she was like, or the chapter they released whenever she was introduced for the first time. Like I remember that getting released and reading it. So like, I remember she was just sort of this mysterious like clique leader. And I felt like you had more reason to hate her back then than you do now, because like she was opposition to Misaka and she was just sort of like villainous seemingly for the sake of being villainous. But like as it currently stands, by the time most people got into Toaru, like we knew so much more about Misaki and had like you didn't have to wait years to figure out what her whole deal was. So the fact that like you have all this information, we know what her motivations are. There's not really any reason out there to hate her. Like I just can't put it together, like other than the fact that Misaka and Misaki don't like each other, and therefore, like if you're a Misaka stan, that's why. But I really don't know.
I mean, I don't want to say that it's just waifu tribalism where people they pick their waifu, they pick their favorite girl or whatever, and then they kind of just hate everyone else. I've seen a few people like that hardcore just love Mikoto and they hate Shokuho because Shokuho opposes Mikoto in some way. I very rarely ever see people actually state a reason that, in my opinion, is valid for why they hate her. It's usually I just see people straight up saying I hate Shokuho, and there's no sort of explanation. So I can't even really say much to that. Like, what can I say? Okay, it's fine to not like a character, but to have like weird, like
Unreasonable.
weird intense hatred for a fictitious character,
Like,
and
what
you're
is
not telling me why. I'm not sure how to react to that.
like? She has a great character design. She got the fucking eyes.
All right, calm down. Let's all get carried away.
I mean, she's got a great character arc.
That too.
But yeah, it's just I can't really wrap my head around it. Like any like complaints I usually hear, it's always like very vague. Like, oh, well, she's manipulative, and it's like, yeah, that's why she's great, because there's a whole like story reason and like character development reason that she is that way.
But,
or it's just, well, she's a bee, and like. Yeah.
I mean, I have heard some people on a comment that I got on on my last video was this person that said they used to not like her because they don't like obsessive. I guess that's kind of New Testament 11 spoilers. I don't know if I should say that or not. Basically, they didn't like her sort of clinginess to a character and the obsessiveness. And that was why it was such a turnoff. But in the same comment, that person also said that later on they realized that that was an intended sort of character flaw, and they kind of respected her more for that. And so I guess I kind of appreciate that perspective, because I seriously think Shokuho is one of the most interestingly written characters in the series, and I kind of think it's just a shame people just kind of inherently hate her without trying to see what good I think she does for the series as a whole.
Yeah, I guess because they wanted to be more independent, maybe. But I don't know. Like, her character is complicated because she does want to be independent and she does move on from it. Like, because she literally leaves this character alone for years. Like, she
Yeah.
doesn't interfere in this person's life. She's aware that other people are going into their life, and she's like, okay, I moved on now. But the more she's exposed to this person, it brings back that inner hope within her.
Yeah,
To
but it
want
also
that back.
makes sense, like from a character standpoint, because like for her to be clingy like that, I think it's representative of how much she lost up to that point. Because like
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Dolly, like, oh, she couldn't save Dolly, like this. She was powerless. Now she has power, but she's also in another situation where she's powerless, but she has like that, hope. And like it makes sense. Like she doesn't want to lose more, so she clings to what she had.
Exactly. She's a legitimately, like, it's interesting to see how she was introduced, because she was introduced as a very sort of like arrogant, high and mighty sort of character that opposed Mikoto, but she's actually like seriously vulnerable, and and it gets really deep into her backstory and why she is the way that she is now. And I think it's a really interesting justification for it all. And I kind of just hate to see people not give her credit.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
like
because you wouldn't. Oh, sorry. Go on.
no, you're fine. I was just gonna say because like she doesn't do much in the main series, but then on the the side story, Niska side, she does a lot, and then she got her own volume, and then we got like good character backstory.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just one of the great mysteries that I'll never really be able to understand.
Yeah, because you think, like, you mentioned, oh, yeah, because she's manipulative. But so is Fiamma, and everyone loves Fiamma. Like, apart from maybe anime onlys who didn't really care that much about him. Then that's fair enough, because,
Yeah, it's
he wasn't fleshed
if
out as well.
it's like still hating Style and Kanzaki. Like somebody mentioned, because she was introduced from Misaka's POV as like an antagonist, and that's why like people don't like her. But like from that standpoint, people shouldn't like Kanzaki or Style at all because they were introduced as antagonists. And like I would say Kanzaki and Style are fairly popular within the fan base now, but characters like Shokuho, you just have these people who can't get rid of their first impression of her, and it's strange.
Like let go of your expectations.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be a popularity thing, because obviously Misaka has received a lot of hate over the years. And, yeah.
From who?
from
Him?
certain no, not me. No, okay. I made jokes to rile Misaka fans up. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you've paid enough attention to me over the years, you'll know I have poked at the bear, or whatever the phrase is. The wasp
know.
nest. I've shut the wasp nest many times. But like, okay, well, I've never like sincerely believed that Misaka is a bad character overall. I have issues with her character in Index, and I think parts of her character in Index are bad. Like, more so in like portions of like New Testament, in a way, more than anything. But yeah, look, but if we take Railgun into account, like Railgun, she's great. but yeah, like, so I do think it's a popularity thing. Like, obviously, people would have made fun of Misaka, and then it's just like it just turns into like a war between the two, and it's kind of reflected like that in the novel, I guess. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I mean, and to be fair, some people do make like hating Misaka their character trait, like their personality is that they hate Misaka. So
Yeah, even I like cringe at that. Like, okay, I can have a joke now and then, but I'm like, bruh, just why do you?
Yeah.
What's the point in doing this?
like she's not that bad. Like she can be like a minor annoyance at times during some arcs, but it's never like I wish she would die.
Yeah. If someone hates Mikoto that much, I always wonder why they even continue consuming this series. Because okay, you can avoid Railgun if you hate her that much, but even in Index, she shows up a lot. I can't imagine you having very much fun with even Index alone if you seriously hate her that much.
Yeah, Mitsuka's like, we have the three main boy protagonists. She's like one of the main female protagonists of Index, honestly.
Yeah.
And just to hate her for not being that is kind of weird, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think there's really a character in the series really worth hating. But
That one guy from Old Testament 4.
from Old Testament,
Bro, that's
Creepy
my
guy.
favorite character.
Oh, Hino Shinsaku.
That creepy guy.
I love him.
What's wrong
Emerald
with
doesn't
him?
know about Hino Jinsaku since
I haven't
he's only
even read
seen
it.
the anime for Ulti.
Just need to see his
I've
face
seen the
and be like,
picture of him.
yeah,
Yeah, you'll love Hino. Hino's a really nice guy.
he's a real piece of work.
He's a beautiful human being inside and out.
His
Oh, I can't
smile
wait to
makes
meet him.
my heart beat.
Stand smile.
That smile.
Always that damn smile.
I remember, like, I saw on, like, was it Twitter or, like, it might have been Toaru Wiki, actually, when I was just, like, scrolling through it, like, a different, like, popularity poll contests. And I think there was, like, a popularity poll from, like, years ago. And, like, a bunch of, like, Japanese fans on, like, on 2CH, which is, like, the Japanese equivalent for 4chan. They basically hijacked it and tried to get Hino Jinsaku to beat Makoto as the most popular character.
Oh, of course they did.
I'm just like, bro, Japanese fucking chads.
Chad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how based. So that just proves to me like the Japanese fandom can be just as based as the Western fandom.
Yeah. Be
Amen.
cool to see. I don't know. I always like seeing how their fandom interacts in comparison to ours, mainly because it's
Yeah.
more of a larger, stable fandom there than here.
For sure.
I imagine I was watching this video of this guy. It was like he was in Japan and he was like just showing different anime openings to people on the street, and it got to one of the openings that he picked was I think it was
Railgun, I think.
Railgun T. It was Final Phase, and like most of them seemed to know it. And one guy even said something like every otaku knows about the Toaru series. And I was like, oh dang, you couldn't say that about the West. Like no one knows what that series is in the West, but in Japan, you're saying everyone knows it. It's like a different world over there, I imagine.
It very much is, yeah.
Well, I think light novels in Japan are just more foundational for like otaku culture there, whereas like here it's mainly anime.
It's like if the Harry Potter fandom read light novels.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like, take that obsession and put it with light novels because they read a lot on trains.
Yeah, exactly. Except I'm too embarrassed to walk around with a light novel in public. So
Nah, you just put that shit in your bag. I carry like 3 of them on me.
I just read it on my tablet and hope that no one like is looking when I get to an illustration.
It's like, yeah, that's the worst part. It's just like, please don't be a please don't be a loot art. Please don't be a loot illustration, please.
Please don't be Kanzaki in that fallen maid outfit.
The best illustration. What do you mean?
Yeah, that's always a great surprise when that's included. I was so disappointed in that episode of Index 3 when they were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to show it." Oh wait, no, we're not. Well, at least they showed it later on.
But yeah, what were we talking about?
Misaki
Nina
hate.
Jisaku.
Oh yeah. But yeah. My opinion stands that Misaki is a great character, and to hate her is a nonsensical decision.
Pretty much same. Pretty
Yeah,
much
sounds about
same.
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when I've like gotten older, although that makes me sound old when I'm not.
Oh man.
Hey! I've been a fan of this series for a long time, and so has Mel. But anyway, yeah, I feel like over the course of time, like you slowly don't really care as much about anime and manga or light novels as much as you used to when you were younger. And I think that's for the people like me who had like a massive weeb phase where we're like obsessed with it and like this is life and death. And then you like mature a bit and you realize, oh wait, it's not life and death, and the real world does exist, and touching grass is a thing. So you can basically.
But I'm allergic to the grass.
I know people have grass allergies, okay, but still, it's important to have a feel of the grass and just suffer through it. But yeah, it's like you then like don't really. You kind of like disassociate yourself with like, okay, I hate this character or whatever. Okay, I mean you still dislike a character, but I feel like hate and disliking something is like a big difference. You know, hate is when you absolutely despise something and you just don't want to see it ever again. Really, that's what I think. But when you dislike something, you're like, I don't really like this, but whatever.
Yeah,
hate is a strong word.
I find it hard to make myself hate any sort of fictional media like that, especially something that's a part of a series I already really love.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah,
except the Accelerator manga that deserves to be hated.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know, like with the Accelerator manga or like, well, at least the second arc of it, I think the first arc is decent, well, not the best, but definitely better in the anime. But like Tokyo Ghoul, like season 2, like that shit is really bad. But would I say? Does that mean I hate it if I say like, oh, that's Tokyo Ghoul season 2 is a 2 out of 10? Like it means that I think it's a bad series, but do I hate it? Do I care enough about it to say, oh, I hate this? Not really, because I don't care about it at all. Really, I'm just like, this is shit. Get it away from me.
No,
Yeah,
burn it. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean I've seen a lot of videos of people. Just not a lot of videos. I remember with Tokyo Ghoul in particular, people would like go out of their way to record videos of like them burning the first volume because of something that had happened in the manga.
That'll really show the author.
Well, I think I know which one moment you mean as well, because I haven't read the manga fully. I think I read like the first 30 chapters when I was 16, and I was like, got distracted or something. I don't know. Probably started reading Toaru instead. But yeah, I think I know what you mean because there was a certain moment that was pretty all over Twitter. So did it involve Toka by any chance?
Yes, I think it did.
Yeah.
I haven't actually read it myself, but I remember it having to do with Toka. And I was like,
I know.
Why burn the first volume? Out of curiosity, they always just pick the first volume, like it's supposed to be symbolic of something. Like, bro, you probably just spent extra money on this series that you're now supposedly so angry at, just so you could burn it.
You support the series by burning it. They already got your money, bro.
Yeah. Ah. See, what else?
Oh,
do we
sounds
got?
like you're all tired.
It's
I
like
didn't
two,
want-
two, 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. It's time for a nap.
Bro, get
I
that
get
coffee.
that feeling. I think we're all Central Time except for Aeon.
Yeah, I'm literally just across the Atlantic Ocean, just chilling. And luckily the rain has stopped and the hail.
Oh, it's been snowing here for like 2 days. It was not fun.
You guys get snow?
Supposed to get snow next week or this week, but we'll see.
I had like
Snow's-
3 or 7 inches, I think.
Oh dang!
It's not fun. Snow is fun until a point, and then it's just like, let me out of my house. And the snow says
By the
no.
way, back to Toaru.
Yes.
GT6 got confirmed.
Ooh. Nice.
Are we excited?
Of course, I'm excited.
Yes,
I'm excited to read it in a few years
I'm excited by
when I catch
proxy.
up.
You do need to catch up.
Oh, well, I really need to send a picture of my bookshelf and show you how many fucking books I have to catch up on.
Yeah, but it's index. Like, drop all that and focus on the important stuff.
It's also hard for me to read on my phone now for some reason. Probably just because it burns my eyes.
What volume are you on, Kyrass?
I'm at the end of New Testament, I think.
Okay. I'm halfway through New Testament. I still have to read Biohacker. I said I would do that.
Oh, I saw people talking about Biohack in the chat because someone I think someone asked like, "Is Biohacker bad?" and everyone else saying like, "Oh, it's good," and then one person said, "Oh, Chapter 1's bad, but the rest is good." Like, I'm not a fan of Biohacker. I wanted to love it. Like, I was like really hyped for it. I was like, "Oh my god, Kamikaze backstory and it's Ayu backstory is like, oh yeah, this will be great, this will be great." And I read it and I was like, bro. I mean, it wasn't all bad. There were some things that were good. There were some things that I enjoyed, but just I just can't bring myself to like it. I can't. I want to like it so bad, but I can't. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on it just because I want to be edgy or anything. Like,
Well, I liked it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, as long as you liked it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But sometimes not everyone likes it.
yeah, that's fair. It's kind of like Zashiki Rawashi as well, which is another one of Komachi's novels. Like, everyone who's read it, like I've seen online, seem to love it, but I don't. I was like, I mean, I enjoyed like the first like 2 volumes of it, and then after that, it was like, oh, this isn't good.
Was it too fan servicey or something, or what was wrong?
There was a bit of fan service, but it just became like so convoluted. Like, if you think Index is convoluted, like times that by 100 and you get Zashiki Rawashi, like,
Ooh.
God, like the concepts in that, like, they're batshit crazy. Like, for better or for worse. Like, I mean, some of it works because it's like, this is pretty interesting stuff. Like, because it's about yokai, like the Japanese like folklore demons, if you can call them that. Yeah. So
The demons.
yeah, some of the concepts in it are really good. Like, I was intrigued by the premise. I love the premise. I was like, oh, okay, this is a solid start. When I read Volume 1, I liked some of the characters. Hishigami Mai, she is best girl, and she's really good. She's my favorite character. I think she's like a female Hisoka. That's like the best way I can describe her. Which is like
Hisoka.
Yeah,
That's an
from
interesting comparison.
Hunter. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I guess less pervy, but more like an agent in a way. But yeah, but then yeah, it just got ridiculous. Like I don't. Should I spoil it? Like I can say like some of the stuff in it, like time travel and shit. Like there was just like some really like how does this make sense? This doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I don't even know how to describe it as that. It's just like character inconsistencies and stuff like that. But yeah,
God, did you read it, Malcolm?
Yeah, I read it. Well, I read it a long time ago. I need to reread it. I liked it though. I think you should read Heavy Object though. Start
I really
Okay.
want to. The light novels just take such a long time for me to read. I'm a pretty slow
Yeah.
reader, and so it's like, man, there's a lot of stuff I want to read, but Index alone is it's going to take me a long time.
Well,
I
Heavy
watched the
Object
anime.
last year.
Yeah.
I've seen the first few episodes of the anime. I didn't dislike it. I just, for some reason, didn't continue it.
The anime is actually pretty faithful to the novels, surprisingly. Like, you can definitely use it as an alternative to reading the first couple novels. And it actually takes it like really slow. Like every single section, like the books are split into like 3 sections, and the anime gives like each section like 3 to 5 episodes each.
Yeah.
You only get through like 3 novels in the first 24 episodes.
Yeah.
Which is just
Okay.
crazy in compare. Or
Read the Index, yes.
yeah. So the whole first season is just 3 or 4 3 or 4 novels. So in comparison to Index, it's like really like takes its time, but sometimes it's a bit to its detriment because it's definitely more fun to read a lot of these concepts than to have them explained to you in the form of anime.
Mhm.
Because it flows a bit more naturally, and like when you're watching an anime, it can get a bit boring whenever they're just yelling all these things at you, explaining all this.
Yeah.
But you can definitely use the anime as a springboard to get into the later books.
That makes sense. So did the anime not do well? Because they only made 1 season of it, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it did maybe at best average. I mean, it got an English dub release and
Okay.
all that. And I'm sure Kamachi, I mean, the book sold 22 volumes or whatever, however many.
Yeah.
So, I mean, normally when an anime really bombs and it has a light novel adaptation, you'll see the light novel adaptation end a couple books later. But Heavy Object went strong for a while.
All right. And that, I think that did end like last year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good while it lasted, though.
If you like Science Side and Index, you should definitely like Heavy Object, especially because like I remember in an interview Kamachi said that Heavy Object is where he put a lot of his ideas that didn't make it into Index.
I'd believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really fun read though.
Yeah, I'll have to at least check out the anime again. I mean, yeah, it definitely wasn't something I didn't enjoy. And I can, in hindsight, I can kind of tell that it was Kamachi because it really did read like, Science Side material from Toaru. So
Yeah, because
put that on the list.
like we mentioned earlier, Kamachi likes to do something original with his novels. And like this was his take on giant mecha battles, in that even in the I don't remember if they said it in the anime, but like in the books in the first chapter, like one of the characters is like, why don't we just have them like stand up and battle like in robot anime? And the main character sort of makes fun of the idea because in real life, like gravity would not allow them to walk around that way. And so they sort of make fun of the science of it and how unrealistic it would be for actual Gundam type robots to exist in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gives like its scientific explanation as to why they're like rounded like they are, or just designs why they are. And it makes it like really believable. Like if I were to see the government start funding like giant objects, I feel like I could see those on the battlefield at some point, like 50 years in the future.
Got it. All right. Well, yeah, you're kind of selling it to me.
Yeah. I gotta convert.
I do recommend it, even as just someone who's seen it.
Okay. Oh, so you haven't read the
Yeah,
novels?
I watched it. I've read
Okay.
a couple of the light novels, and I've seen it. The anime, it's pretty good.
I guess it's one of those anime that probably benefits from the novel, like you said, because they can explain the concepts better. But yeah, for me, like they basically like the objects kind of made like nukes irrelevant in a way, and I kind of want an explanation on that because I was like, wait, really?
I mean, they did.
It's because you have this like giant force of nature. It's sort of like the way you could look at it is like they're like hurricanes. You can shoot a nuke at a hurricane, but it's not going to stop the hurricane from destroying everything in its path. And so, because of the way they're designed, because they're as the books describe it, they're layered like an onion. So, they're with like a bunch of like fireproofing mixed into the alloys and stuff. And since they're so thick and have their own like air conditioning regulation systems, they're basically able to tank nukes. Whereas like the first object in the novels, like it tanked a few nukes, but it was starting to like melt as like ice cream, as they describe it. But like later units, it's just
Destruction.
yeah, it's pure destruction, and not the only way to stop an object is with another object. Because just nukes don't make sense to use against them, since it takes a lot of them to stop an object.
Stop, not destroy, by the way.
Yeah.
Like,
So I don't know, it makes sense in the context of the novels, especially with how the world's broken up, because the world isn't like separated into singular countries, but it's, as it's described, it's like stained glass windows or something, where it's like broken up and all these countries own small territories. Think Africa back whenever Europe was occupying as much of it as it could, where like borders were just everywhere, matching with everybody. So basically, whenever your object loses, you basically give up that border because you're not able to stop the winning object. And that's sort of how wars play out. It's, oh, your object lost. Well, we won the war, or we won this battle, so we get this land now. And then the whole like concept is like, okay, but what if you had people who can defeat objects without objects, and how does that change the landscape of war? So
it sounds pretty political in nature, which is something I really like in anime. So yeah, I think I'm going to check this out soon then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you like politics, like an index, then it's definitely worth checking out.
Indeed, I do. Did Heimer do the art?
No, he got a different artist. I can't remember who they are. I think they use like a weird pseudonym. It's like just a number, I think.
Oh, okay.
One.
Yeah, I think your description of it's selling me more than the anime did. Like, so I thought the anime was okay. I think I gave it like a 5 out of 10. But yeah, I think your description of it's like making me more interested in it than I was previously.
Yeah.
But another thing, like that reason why I ranked it that low is because like I did like really enjoy like the chemistry between the two main characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, Avia and Quenfa. Quenza. Yeah. But one problem I did have with it is that they kind of, but due to like how lighthearted they are and some of the other factors, like the battle maids and shit, it kind of like makes war is kind of like a joke. Like that's what it kind of felt like to me. I was like, wait, I'm supposed to be taking this war seriously or not? Like when you have like these elements to it, I was like,
I mean, if your objects are like the main thing you're after, your troops can dress however they want to, honestly.
Believe it or not, there is a reason, like in-universe reason they're maids that sort of makes sense, because like so the nations like basically, or the world's basically split between like 5 powers, and I think they belong to like the society that's basically entirely capitalist. So like they don't just go to war, they'll like sell their services to the other countries. And so in that regard, like,
so that's what it means.
Yeah, that's why
they have a gimmick.
But there's also more to those maids in particular than that, because it's spoilers, but it's hard to explain.
Oh, okay.
A lot of in-world politics to explain.
Okay. I mean, that concept alone is pretty funny, but all right, maybe I should peep it. I mean, I peeped, what do you call it? Blood Sign briefly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I should probably get on one of them or 2 of them.
Yeah. I mean, like, ultimately, the TLDR of the anime is 2 bros go and destroy giant robots and change the politics of the world. And that's it.
Pretty much.
That's what you need to understand.
Sounds dope.
It's pretty dope.
I really thought it was Hymera that was the artist, because I don't know why some of the female character designs in particular look like something he would draw. If that
The
makes
art
any
was by
sense.
Ryo Nagi, which I don't know what
Ryo
else.
Nagi.
Let's see.
That's a name.
It's a very just generic Japanese name. Ryo Nagi.
It's like, how do you not know who I am? It's like, your name is not.
But yeah, I
Great.
think like Komachi gets a new illustrator for most
Every
of his
series.
novels.
Yeah.
I don't think he has the same illustrator, but I don't know if that's his own choice or it's Denkeki Bunko's choice. It might be.
The illustrator he really loves to use isn't Hymera. It's the person who did a bunch of hentai, a really popular doujin.
Mahaya.
Oh, I think I remember. Yeah.
The Tsushiki Wawashi one.
Yeah, like they do just about
Mahaya.
all the art for every other series. Kamachi does.
Yeah, I think Mahaya's also done some like Toaru doujins.
They
Has he?
I think so.
I know Nogi did, but I
Oh
didn't.
yeah.
They did.
I'm not surprised
I think-
Nogi did. I know. I know Hymera. If you look at his Pixiv, if you go back to his older stuff on there, you'll see some nudity. I don't remember
Yeah.
if they were Toaru characters or not, but he definitely did used to draw stuff like that. But Nogi, I would be surprised if Nogi didn't draw doujins of Toaru.
It's just Nogi's art style, but yeah, I mean,
That's probably how
Himura's like,
Kamachi found him.
yeah, Himura was like, yeah, I think it was like 2003. Like, I think Himura did like a visual novel or something, like with like hentais in it, like
Yeah.
before Index. So that's what got him recognized. But yeah, for most like illustrators in Japan, like it's the easiest way to get like recognized. So that's why like most of them do it to start off with.
Yeah. Yeah, because even for Hymera, Index wasn't his first Kamachi project. It was that what is that?
Oh, Killer
one?
Queen.
Yeah, Killer Queen.
Yeah.
Killer Queen.
Killer Queen bites a dosto.
But yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. It's interesting. The illustrator side of Kamachi's works is really interesting to look into.
Just be like that. He's like, I write too much for one artist to draw everything I want.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, I don't think there's many artists out there that could keep up with everything Kamachi wants to do.
Oh yeah, for sure. You could just it'd be like a full-time art job just for a single person, which
One hand.
just a wild thought.
Radical.
Now, I have been rewatching Railgun, like the first season.
I have two actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was watching it with a friend just yesterday.
Ah, okay. Has Railgun aged well, in your opinion?
So it's really interesting because I haven't watched Railgun season 1 in such a long time, or like, and not such a long time. It sounds like I'm a boomer or something. I got into the series not that long ago,
Not a
but
boomer.
revisiting it, it feels more jarring, especially as I'm watching it with someone else, because I'm kind of being a little bit more critical of it in my head, and it's really jarring because I even wrote this down in my notes, but it'll switch from like super cute slice of life horny Kuriko moment to just like interdimensional looking fetus thing that's the amalgamation of 10,000 desperate espers in a neural network, and just like instantaneously. It is really jarring, and it's like, okay, I'm kind of forgiving of it because I think it's kind of cool, and I think it's kind of funny. It's my very simplistic answer. But if you're looking at it kind of objectively, it is pretty weird. And
yeah.
after that, it just goes straight back to slice of life. It's like kind of like nothing happened. And so I kind of
Yeah.
realized like it's just the experience with the manga of Railgun and the anime starting off is so different. It kind of depends on like whatever you're interested in. If you have someone that's, I don't know, they specifically love slice of life, I'd say like, yeah, I guess starting, with the Railgun anime is a fine way to get into the Toaru series. But then if you kind of just want like the actual story elements of it all and how it, I don't know, you're more interested in the plot of the whole entire Toaru universe, and it really makes sense to kind of just read the manga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really liked, I don't think it's like a terrible anime. I just don't really like how the Railgun anime sort of affected the greater scope of like the Toaru anime universe. Just because it messed with the timeline and introduced all these filler elements that are still like argued as to whether or not they are canon or if they even make sense being canon, like Silent Party, for example. In just a lot of the changes it makes, I felt like made it overall weaker and like negatively impacted how I view certain characters versus the manga. Like I don't like Misaka as much in season 1 of Railgun as I do in the manga because it sort of changes how do I put it? It changes how you view her character and her motivations and like how she uses her power. Because in the manga, she's a bit more like you can sort of see her representing what the people who take level upper view high level espers as people who like are all powerful and abuse their powers, and are just like overconfident and boastful about it. Because you see that in the first episode or chapter, whenever the getaway driver, I think they robbed a bank or something. Like in the anime, she's saving Satan. She's like being heroic and stuff. But in the manga, the reason she shoots the van or the getaway car is because they dirtied her clothes by making her drop her
food.
Yeah, her parfait or whatever onto her school vest, and that was what motivated her to just go full railgun and fire a railgun at him. And then her interactions with Toma leading up to that fight, she's quick to attack somebody who's supposedly a level 0 and just abuse her powers in that way. And then like she has the scene where he scares her, right? And she becomes like all nervous and starts doubting herself, which is completely removed from the anime. And I think like for that regard, it made me think, well, in terms of level upper, where all these people who are motivated by feeling like they're weak and powerless and whatnot, that moment with Toma, to me at least, how I interpreted, was supposed to be a moment for her to sort of understand how those people feel and sort of help her connect to the victims of level upper in that way. But since the anime sort of changes so much of it, it sort of removes a lot of that underlying character development. It just makes Misaka seem sort of Mary Sue-ish in a way.
Yeah.
Is that moment where she doubts herself that you mentioned against Toma?
Yeah, because it's whenever, if you remember, it's the day Toma met Index, she runs into him and challenges him to another fight. And then Toma's like,
yeah.
where a church is. But then like he scares her into thinking that he could just take away her power. And she gets into that like it scares her so much he's able to just walk away, and she's like sort of scared to even challenge him to another fight.
Yeah, because at the moment I'm literally making I kind of hinted at it in my last video, but I'm making a Railgun retrospective video. So looking at Railgun like from like the past 15 years. So I'm talking about like some of the stuff you mentioned about the differences that are presented in the manga and the anime. So yeah, this is going to be like very useful for my video because I've been doing a bit of research, like going back and forth between the two, just to make sure I'm remembering everything correctly because it's been a while since I've watched and read both from the beginning. So yeah, I'm looking forward to making that video, and it'll basically like highlight like differences and my personal opinion about those differences. And yeah, you raise a good point about Misaka being a more three-dimensional character, I guess, in the manga, even from the very beginning.
Yeah, and I mean, the later seasons of Railgun do a bit better at not causing some of those issues, but there's still like season 1 of Railgun like sort of messed up a lot of like smaller details that became important later on. I think the most obvious one would be like Congo. Introduce her in season 1 of Railgun, but she wasn't supposed to be introduced, or she wasn't introduced in the manga until much later down the line, like right before the Daihase festival. So a lot of the character development for her and even her friends, because of the Silent Party arc, taking away their motivations during the Daihase festival of like, oh, we've never been in a fight and we're basically useless. And it's like, we just saw them during the Silent Party arc do exactly what they're suddenly scared about now. It's just that the foundation of the Railgun anime really messed up a lot of future character developments and like just timeline issues in Index anime universe in general, that it's sort of I don't enjoy watching it as much, just because like I see these things and it bugs me as somebody who likes to study the world of Index and place all these events in order.
Interestingly enough, about Congo, like her introduction in episode 1 of Railgun, it kind of mirrors her introduction in Old Testament 8 in the light novel, except that in the light novel she's trying to recruit Kuroko for her clique that she wants to create, but then she hears Misaka doing like testing the power like nearby, and it's causing like all those explosions, and it's kind of like mirrored in the Railgun anime, weirdly, because I don't think she was recruiting Kuroko for a clique in the Railgun anime, but she was like talking to Kuroko. I think she's being a bit snob, just fulfilling the stereotype, and then it's like, oh, look at Misaka over there, like she's in this pool, like just causing like these earthquake shudders from her power. So I found that quite strange that they were inspired by that in a way to introduce her. Like, just, I mean, she wasn't even that like prominent in the first episode. She was just like there for that one scene, and then she appears again in like episode 3 with the eyebrow girl. She's just like background character.
It's a lot like how they did Shokuho's introduction in Railgun S, where they took the scene from further down in the manga and like moved it forward. But whenever we got to Railgun T, they had to like redo the scene, but like slightly different. So it was sort of in that way, it's weird. Like whenever the Rail anime likes to break the timeline, it's never really. I don't think they ever really have a good reason to break the timeline as they do.
So, okay. So when the first season of Railgun was adapted, how much of the manga material existed, and how far was Index, if you happen to know?
If I remember correctly, I think we were early into the Sisters arc in the manga.
God,
and
so
I
you
know
really
for
didn't have enough
the
material.
sorry, I know for the light novel because I researched it. So the first volume or the first chapter of the Railgun manga came out in like February 2007, and then it was January 2007 where volume 12 came out for Index.
Okay, so then Index had kind of been going on for a good while before. I mean, I guess they just really wanted to push out a Railgun anime right after the Index anime, but they didn't have enough material to go off of. And that just kind of really screwed things up for the long term, just so they could achieve like a short term sort of, interesting thing that they had going on.
Yeah. Well, I
with
think
that whole universe.
the big thing is back at the time it came out, the anime, 2-core anime were like the only thing that anyone released. That's why Index and
Yeah.
Railgun get like 24 plus episode seasons, whereas other light novel adaptions get 12 episode seasons. So I think because they had that standard at the time, if it were released now, I 100% believe that we would have just gotten like a 12 episode season of Railgun, which would have meant probably no filler and a more consistent sort of timeline. But since it was something that was going on at the time it came out, it's just sort of a reflection of a long gone era.
Bygone era.
Yeah, bygone era.
Pretty much. I guess that is just a problem at large with historically with the anime industry. They're always kind of changing how they do things. And like you said back then, legitimately 2-core seasons were the only thing people were ever really put out, that studios ever really put out. So I guess it was a kind of a trap for the industry at that time. I mean, I definitely agree that if Railgun Season 1 were to be released now, it probably would have just been a 12-episode anime. It actually probably would have been a lot better. But I do try to look back at it positively because I do still just really enjoy Railgun Season 1. And I know a lot of people get into it just because they like that type of show. They like something that appears to be slice of life like that, even though I don't know if I would just straight up say Season 1 is slice of life. I'd say it's slice of life inspired. But in a way, I do like to think that gathered a certain section of fans, of anime fans, because of that. And it got more people invested in the Toaru universe at large, even if they did later on realize how it does kind of screw things up. Because in the timeline, because I remember when I started reading the manga right after I caught up on Railgun, before Railgun T was out, I read the manga, and one of the very first chapters I think you're supposed to read after Railgun S is the Congo introduction chapter. And then I was so confused why everyone was acting like they didn't know who Congo was. And so I guess being faced with issues like that a number of times kind of did make me actually become, in an odd way, it did make me become more invested in the Toaru universe as a whole, because I kind of had to look into things to actually understand what this universe really is, apart from how JC Staff kind of adapted it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really weird. Index is definitely its own sort of it has its own history that's really interesting in these regards.
Do you think the reason why he went a slice of life route to say, or spin, is more accurate, I guess, for Railgun Season 1 is that slice of life like Moe was a lot more popular back then when it was coming out.
Yeah.
So I think like K-On! And stuff like that came out like the same year as Railgun and all that. So I think that probably played a part in why they went that route. And then once they got that over and done with, they were like, okay, we're going to focus on the battle side of Railgun, which is what Railgun is mostly about. I mean, from the manga at least. But I don't know if like Season 1 like gave like the wrong impression of the series or franchise as a whole. Like, what do you think?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was trying to remember that and I forgot to add it whenever Emerald was talking, because I do think 100% that series like K-On! Being so popular at that era was a big motivator for them getting Railgun out when they did and really focusing early on that slice of life. And it definitely played a huge role in getting people into the series early on, because Railgun's a much easier point of entry than Index. And especially taking advantage of cute girls doing cute stuff and then throwing in, it's like sort of, I guess you could look at it similar to how like Modica Magica sort of introduced its sort of twist in that it's like, oh, we're, you know, magical girl, cute magical girl stuff, and then all of a sudden it switches to a much darker material. I think you would have had a similar feeling, though not rather than dark. It's just, oh, I'm jumping from K-On! To a shonen manga.
Yeah, because
I mean,
Railgun Season 1 had that dark twist, didn't they?
Yeah.
Go on.
I definitely think Season 1 was, it really was just a product of its time. Because, I mean, K-On! In particular wasn't out. That actually came out a little bit later. But I know Lucky Star and Haruhi all came out like at that same time, like 2006, 2007. And those were like pretty, what I say, industry defining shows, genre defining. I'm not exactly sure what I would call it, but shows like that really did change the industry. And I think they were just trying to capitalize on that trend while also offering something that made it stand out from other cute girl moe shows with that sort of shonen-esque element. And I think a lot of people liked it at the time. I imagine it probably went over better back then than it did now. And it's only in hindsight that people kind of see the issue with it. But yeah.
Yeah. I guess there's a debate to be had. Like, if the problems you have with a series don't come until long after it's over, like, was it really a problem in the first place? Which I guess it just depends on how you consume Index as a fan. Like, if you're just an anime only, it really doesn't affect you. Like, any reason that I have to dislike it, you don't really have that reason or as like an excuse to dislike it for that reason. So I don't know. It's one of those series that really just depends on where you stand as an Index fan or a Toaru fan.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we'll transition to the Q&A section in a bit. So if you want your questions to be answered, if you got any questions, send them in the chat. Or if you want a super chat, you'll jump ahead of the queue. So send them in. But yeah, up to you. All right.
I see we have a lolly debate going on in the chat.
I noticed, but I didn't comment. I was like, whoa. It's best to stay out of it. At least for me, because I can be easily cancelled with whatever I say. But
No, this is a good time for views. Start some drama.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
Local YouTuber Anna Porus. Lolly lover? Question mark. That's a headline.
Well, at least my dad works in a prison, so he can sort me out.
The other prisoners would sort you out first. But...
yeah. Hopefully he'll give me a special cell, so I'm like away from the other nasty prisoners. Get a TV and all that good stuff.
Why are you like? I like
just like a character in GT. Who I won't mention. But yeah, there is a GT character who has a TV in his prison cell and his maximum security.
And some people were upset about that.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't say who it is because we don't want to spoil it, but yeah. Actually, it was Style because, he's been hanging around Komoi too much.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. It might be Komoi.
I love the reactions I get when I show people Style and say he's 14.
Oh yeah.
You're a Shotokan? You thought Style was handsome?
All right, I'll do a quick Twitter. Quick tweets. But yeah, one thing we didn't really touch upon was I guess we did touch upon it kind of in that we talked about like the movies, like potentially being a remake or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I would like a remake, I guess, just out of like personal opinion for the anime. But yeah, I think New Testament's more likely.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time, really. But yeah.
I'd like it. It's just realistically how long it would take to release a reboot is just like I'm already too far into this series to be able to handle having to redo the entire anime for the next 20 years.
Yeah, but it probably would like bring new fans in, especially if the animation's better, because people just fawn over good animation these days. So like, because then people would be able to say, "Oh, we can start this." Like, it'd be like, yeah, probably get more fans. I don't know.
Good animation works. It helped Demon Slayer.
That is true.
Pretty colors.
Ufotable animation. Ufotable's a good studio, but like the only reason Demon Slayer was like super popular is because of the animation.
They have a lot of money for their animation because they dodge taxes.
No, that was just the CEO. I do remember that. It wasn't a company. It was like one of the higher up people. I remember.
All right. Shall we start answering then?
Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I think people have questions from like the very start, but I probably won't scroll that far because I'll do it after like the point where I was like asking, because otherwise repeat it all day maybe. But yeah, remember super chat if you want to jump ahead of the queue. Okay, so first we got Kamijo Medi. When am I going to make a level 5 Takitsubo video? Yeah, it's actually something I've written down in my idea notes file thing. So I do write ideas for videos in like a notepad like file on my computer. And yeah, I was thinking about making a video about like pseudo level 5s or I guess potential level 5s, that kind of related video. And if I market that correctly, that could be a successful video in my opinion. So yeah, that's something I will do. I can't tell you when I'll make it because it really depends on like scheduling and stuff like that. Because obviously, like this week I want to make the Railgun anniversary video because you know it's time relevant in a way. But yeah, as long as I think this will be a good opportunity to make it, yeah, I definitely make it like I don't know, maybe sometime next few months. I can't give you an exact date, but yeah, that's something I'd like to do. Okay, the Nan or the name, however you say it. What do you guys expect from the Railgun anniversary? Someone else can go first.
Merchandise.
Merchandise. Yeah. I don't really want to get my I don't really want to get my expectations too big for whatever they're going to announce for the anniversary, because the fact that they announced the SS volume ahead of time either tells me that was the big announcement and they were getting it out of the way, or that there is an even bigger announcement. So I don't know. I would like to expect nothing and be proven wrong and have a really nice day on the 25th.
Yeah. I feel like they really haven't made that big of a deal out of it. from like a corporate level. So I don't feel like if they had advertised it more, then I would believe they had more planned. But at the moment, I don't really see them doing much beyond merchandising. They've got it seems like Mental Out and the SS are all they really seem interested in advertising.
What about you, Kyrass?
News-wise, I would maybe expect a promo, just not even for anything, but like, hey, 15 years, guys, let's go, and then maybe some special illustrations and possibly a trailer for something, but that's about it.
Yeah, I get what people are saying. Like, we've had a fair few like announcements for it. I mean, I don't think it's been mentioned yet. Like, but I like a new chapter of the Mental Out manga because I don't think we've really gotten that yet. Also, the Railgun manga as well. Like, because it feels like they've been on hiatus for a while, at least to me.
Well, the
although I think we
Railgun
did get
manga
like,
was sick, right?
yeah, that was like last year, I think.
Oh, I guess
well,
it's been a while.
Yeah. I think like the Railgun. Was there a chapter in January or December? Like, there definitely was a more recent chapter. It's just like Mental Out. It's just been like non-existent for a while. But I guess that's a preparation for the volume release and obviously the CD drama. So yeah, I mean, I would love some kind of anime announcement on top of that, or even like another side story announcement, spin-off, something like that. But yeah, I mean, I think it was stated on like Twitter that there would be like multiple announcements in plural, so whether that is included with what we've gotten so far or not, I'm not sure. I hope you are pleasantly surprised. Like, I always keep my hopes up high, even though earlier I did say inside I do feel like the realist in me is saying, oh, okay, we're probably not going to get any anime announcement or anything, but you never know. It's possible. It's possible. We'll stay positive. We will stay positive because that'd be great. Because
yeah,
there'll be a lot more interest in the series as a whole, and get new fans into it. Yeah, it's surprising like how many people like got into the franchise because of Index 3, even though Index 3 wasn't that good. It's kind of like same with like Tokyo Ghoul. Like Tokyo Ghoul anime was like pretty bad, but yeah, it's got like so many fans into it.
Yeah, I think it is inevitable that we will see like the Jailbreaker arc adapted and Astro. I think Astro Buddy is very likely going to be adapted, but it's just a matter of time. It's maybe further down the line, but I kind of don't see it just being announced in a week from now.
Yeah.
Ben Misaka asked a similar sort of question, so we've kind of already talked about that, but he did ask, what will we expect in this SS? I mean, I'll go first because it could literally be anything. Like, I guess it, like if we go off the trends of the previous Railgun side stories before this, there should be some kind of magical element to it because that's literally been the trend so far, apart from Cold Game. But Cold Game isn't considered a part of the main side stories because it wasn't a full volume. So that's what I expect. But apart from that, I mean, we know the four main girls will be in it. We can also expect that, but I don't know beyond that because, yeah, I mean, we could expect a character from Index appearing because the first two side stories had that as well. So it'd be interesting to see a different Magic side character in it. That'd be cool. But yeah, what do you guys think?
So like you said, it could really be anything. Right now, I guess first I'd have to wonder where in the timeline it'll take. because we're in a flashback arc in the manga, so I don't think it would be a flashback in the novel too. And it's right now, Railgun in general is getting like really close to World War III, and I feel like my general theory is that, or prediction is that we'll see Railgun end by that time, because I don't really see it running through the New Testament as well. So we're sort of like in a very limited time gap right now. But if I had to guess, I'd like to see it be something related to magic. But I can only imagine it's going to be some sort of, general problem in Academy City, and Misaka is going to have to do something. I don't really see a big out there plot. Maybe I think it would be cool if we saw some of the clique leaders that we're seeing in the current arc sort of in modern day. But that's really about it. I really don't know where Komachi could go with it.
I would throw a prediction out there if I knew anything about the SS novels. I got nothing.
Kyrass?
Much similar. I mean, they could go into New Testament if they really want to. There's plenty. They have the whole like nuns and Kenzaki group that they could do for like an SS. But I'm not entirely sure what to expect for the next SS volume. They could do a couple different things, honestly. It just depends on where they want to take it.
Well, this next one's a Railgun one specifically.
Oh, okay, and then sorry. What is the girl with the fan that's the wind controller?
Congo?
Congo.
Yeah, they could do a Congo side story, honestly.
That'd be neat.
Like, I feel like she needs more love.
Maybe something with Judgment. I mean,
yeah, they could do it. They honestly could do a Judgment side story.
All right, moving on. Yo, it's Zyvex. Welcome back, man. Nice to see you around. What do you guys think of the Mental Out CD drama? Well, it's not out yet, but the prospect of it, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, we already had an Index one, so, and it's a thing in Japan to have these, so let's see what it's like. I mean, I don't really know what to expect. I mean, the Index one, I mean, I haven't watched all of the Index one, but it's not really essential. I don't think, is this one canon? I think it should be if Komachi's writing it. Yeah. We'll have to wait and see.
yeah.
That's all I say.
From the cover art, I'm sort of just assuming that it's going to be a more lighthearted Judgment focused with the what's her name, the main girl, or the girl,
Grunko.
Maki something. Oh, never mind. Thought you meant the girl on the cover of them.
Oh, you mean Makigami or
whatever the pigtail, the girl in the middle.
Yeah, Makigami. Yeah.
Makigami. Okay, so my assumption is it's sort of like, or at least it's going to start off more lighthearted with her. And maybe it'll be about her balancing her like Judgment duties alongside her membership in Shokaho's clique, with some sort of like, at some point, both her Judgment case and her duties coming together to like highlight some sort of antagonist. But it's really like all we have to go off is a cover, so it looks good. I like the direction they're going with it, so no complaints for me.
Anyone else?
Well, I was wondering, when did the Index CD drama come out? that you were referring to?
Oh, I think it came out like 2009, if I remember correctly, or something like
Okay,
that.
so it's old. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never even listened to a CD drama. I wouldn't even know what to say about it. If it gets translated, I mean, I'll and put online or something, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, the CD drama is online. I think someone uploaded it to YouTube.
Oh, already?
Yeah,
The
or
the
the
original
next one.
one, not the new one.
yeah,
Okay, I
next
was-
one. Yeah,
yeah.
the Mental Art one isn't out yet, but yeah,
Got it.
but it will be next week.
Guys, next week.
Yes. All right. You want to talk about this, Kyrass, or move on?
I don't really have anything to say. I haven't watched the first one. I think it's neat that they're doing another one after all this time, but that's about it.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, we kind of talked about this from Way to Light and Darkness. We already kind of talked about what we expect. Let's see if there's any other from YouTube. If not, we'll go to Twitter. Oh, we got Style Magnus. Another. Is this the Style Magnus from Mino? The Mino days? I think
No,
it might be.
It's hard to tell.
If it is you, Style, nice to see you, man. It's good to have you listening. If you are the Style Magnus from the good old days, me and Kyrass know the original Toaru group on Amino. Yeah, let's go.
That's when it was good.
Yeah, good old days. Yeah, it'd also be cool to have you on, man. If you are
Oh, it's him.
He said
the OG.
yes.
Oh, it is him. Yes,
is?
let's go. Nice to have you.
Nice.
Yeah, we need you on sometime. Yeah, DM me, and we'll get you on for a future episode.
You have to make sure. You have to question the things that only the Style Magnus would know.
Yeah, we also need some more British representation here.
Oh wait, he's British.
I'm surrounded. Yeah, he's British. Of course, he's British. He's Style Magnus. What do you expect?
Oh no! In the dub, he's American.
That's fucking Funimation, though, isn't it?
And
Right,
you can't really be British and Japanese either.
All right. Yes. Do you guys think they'll make a Railgun movie? We kind of talked about this earlier, but I think they could. Like, well, yeah. I guess we can talk about it in more detail. Like, I think there's a decent chance of it happening because Railgun is, bank.
Yeah.
And if like, well, the current state of the Railgun manga is that we don't really have enough content for a full season, so they could literally just say, okay, we're going to make a movie if we're that desperate for money. So
the only thing is, like, I feel like they probably wouldn't want to separate it from Index because, like, even the Index movie, like, it had the entire Railgun cast. It didn't leave out any of the stuff that's normally exclusive to Railgun. So if we did, my assumption would be if we did get another movie, it would still be like titled Index, even if it's more Railgun focused a bit. But I mean, it's still a possibility. I could see it happening.
I mean, I think they actually would be pretty likely to straight up title it as a Railgun movie rather than an Index movie. Only because I think Railgun T performed a good bit better than Index 3, to my knowledge. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
I mean, it helps that Railgun T was good.
Yeah, yeah. And it was the most recent one, so it's a little bit more fresh in people's mind. The most recent thing from the Toaru project, so it's more kind of fresh in people's minds. I mean, I'd love to have a Railgun movie. I think that'd be amazing.
Cool. I guess we'll move on. Okay, Medi asks a question. What do you guys think would happen when Toma gets his memories back?
Nothing super different, I suppose.
I honestly don't think I can see much changing just because he's done such a good job at like integrating himself back into society while pretending to be the original Toma. Like, I can't really see many of his character relationships changing unless they were like, they pulled a twist where it's like you get your old memories back, but all of your memories from between the when you lost them to now are gone. So his character relationships.
I
would
mean,
be-
if he could somehow have like an identity crisis, that would be a good story.
yeah, I mean that was sort of what the early Index was, though. Like
Yeah, but it
Index
wasn't like
was sort of like the whole fake Aureolus was wholly sort of dedicated to that sort of exploration.
yeah,
I
but
think
I
I'm
want
more.
like Toma inside of himself, just arguing with himself, and I the real Toma.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, actually, no. They straight up did that in T9 with the whole fake Toma. Everybody around you is different. I don't know. It feels like they've explored that a couple times now.
Mm.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in more agreement with Malcolm that I really don't think he would be that different if he got his memories back.
No, I'm not saying he would be different. I'm just saying if they wanted to do something interesting with it, they could do something like that.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, he would not be that different of a person, honestly.
Yeah.
Mm.
I guess I just have a hard time imagining him having like this identity crisis if he like didn't really change, if there wasn't really a notable difference between the two. I mean, maybe he could get his memories back and we learned something about previous Toma that was drastically different, but
Mm.
or some sort of plot twist. Maybe he was plot twist. He was a member of Skill Out or something. But
Ooh.
That would be a good twist.
but overall, I don't know. I feel like that would be ultimately it would just be like tears. Everyone's happy. Final episode of the anime, and then it ends.
Yeah, I can see identity crisis coming along with that. It's like, was that really me the entire time? Something like that.
Why would I do such a thing?
Yeah, how could I save all these people and stop World War Three? All right, Stevie Veringus. Hope I pronounced that right. My question is: do you think the cramped calendar is always good for the series? Oh,
Just how
This-
everything's sort of back to back to back, I guess.
yeah, I guess with like how cramped the days are and stuff, like Terma not getting a break much.
I've got no issue with it. I don't think it. I mean, unless we're talking about how I mentioned earlier, the anime adaptation sort of by trying to just change things slightly, it completely messes up future events because everything is so compressed together. But I don't think it's really that bad. I sort of prefer it in a way just because you don't like I've seen some people be like Toma should learn how to use the sword and like fight with a blade and instead of just his fist. And it's like when realistically in the time span of the anime, everything's happening so fast. Even if he did decide to do that, he wouldn't have time to learn how to use a weapon. Like it's only going to be a couple minutes until he's attacked again. And it keeps things rolling. It never really felt like I needed a break between events, you know?
Yeah, I'd probably say the same. I mean, I definitely don't think the only time it's an issue is when, like you said, where the anime wants to insert some sort of filler in this schedule where this calendar where that's really not possible. And like the effects that can have on the timeline. Outside, that's really the only downside I can think of. I think if they were to actually, if it were to last like a few years, if there were skips in this series, I would feel a little concerned just about like all the character designs because I feel like character designs would have to change really often, and there's such a gigantic cast. I'm not sure how plausible that really is to, achieve something like that.
Yeah.
I think that was their main reason for why everything is moving so slowly. But the thing is, like, even if you had a problem with it, we already know it's not going to change. Like Kazuma Kamchi has already said that you can expect everything to be happening at a very slow pace or very fast Am I saying slow pace or fast pace?
I
Everything's
think,
happening fast, but time is not moving forward
yeah, I
as
don't know.
much as you would think. Yeah. So even if you don't like it, it's not going to change. So it's kind of just
Yeah.
something you have to accept if it does bother you, which it doesn't personally bother me at all.
Yeah, I think like I don't really mind it. I mean, it does like bring into question, oh, okay, how are all these crazy situations happening within a short span of time? But then you kind of remember, oh yeah, Alistair is, deciding this to the point where he wants the magic side to be more involved in Academy City and everything. So I guess that does explain it somewhat. But yeah, it does let me think, how can people live in Academy City for this long? This is like the average, like half a year. But I don't know if it is or not. Like Komachi would have to clarify that if this is like normal occurrence in Academy City with all this the shit that happens inside, or whether this just happened, this particular year in the timeline because Alistair was like, okay, time for the Keikaku to commence.
That's kind of how I always thought of it. I always thought of it as just this is just a special period in time where everything is starting to unfold. But maybe that's an ignorant perspective.
No, not at all. I think I agree with you.
Yeah, because I just sort of see it as a domino effect, like it makes sense that all of this is happening so fast back to back because like the events always in some way directly, everything that happens seems to be a direct response to something else that happened like before, or it's just required for Alistair's plan. But it always feels like everything is a response to each other, and so I'm not like questioning the break. Actually, I feel like if there was like long breaks between everything, some of the events would make less sense because it would feel like there's a lot less actual tension being built up between the magic and science side.
Oh, I can see that for sure. Yeah, I actually think Index does benefit pretty well from everything happening so fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you on that.
Plus, with breaks, Tomo would be like a university student now. And
Yeah. By the way, to save time, we'll only do one question per person because I know some people have asked like multiple questions. So, but we will answer this one from Wait to Light Adonis because we couldn't really answer his early question because it had already been like, someone else had already asked it. So I think it's fair that we give him a unique answer. Or she. I won't misgender. Sorry. What side characters do you want them to return like that character in GT5? Yeah, I like Fiamma. We need Fiamma back. And who else? Who else do I want back? Aqua. Off the top of my head. Oh yeah, I want for Olorus, Kamisato. Who else? Probably those.
Yeah, I'd agree on a lot of those. I definitely want to see Fiamma, Aqua, Carissa. Why no Itsuwa? Why do we not have Itsuwa?
yeah.
I really like Esther. I know she's an accelerator character, but I would love it if Esther somehow made it into Index. Maybe that's just me though.
Yeah, there's so many characters I feel like that still have room for exploration and stuff. I agree with you on Itsuwa. Itsuwa's that one that comes to mind just because she played like a fairly sizable role in the second half of Index,
Definitely.
Old Testament, and then she just sort of vanished. There's some members of the Kiharas I'd like to see more of. I feel like Inshu just sort of vanished out of nowhere, and she had like sort of an interesting. There was some interesting stuff about her. I thought Komachi was building up to, and then he sort of just wrote her out of existence. There's also Marion. What was it? Slinganair?
Yeah.
Yeah,
However you pronounce that.
He set her up for like a future arc, and I'm still waiting for that.
I'd like to see more Fräulein Kreutun, really. I don't know if she ever really does much again, but
Yeah, there's so many characters that it feels like they still have stories to be told, and that I'd like to see them show up. So any character like that, Fraulein, Marion, Inshu, Itsuwa, just all of them, like in common, is just it feels like their stories aren't complete yet, and I just want to see them get a proper wrap up.
Shall we move on?
sure thing. You guys can't hear my dog barking, by the way, can you?
Nah,
Nope.
Good, good, good.
but no, I'm
Okay.
for it.
All right, we'll answer the ones from Twitter. There's only 3 of them. Then we'll call it a day. Shadow Hand asks, what kind of injury do you think Terma will get in the future? I think his right arm will get cut off again at some point.
I think he will contract pneumonia.
I think he'll die.
Oh, Kyrass.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, too busy playing Final Fantasy.
No, I'm on a break with that right now.
What kind of injury do you think Terma is going to get in the future?
Well, he's already had brain damage, arm damage. Let's get some leg damage in there. Let's break his legs.
Oh,
Maybe he'll
then he
lose,
definitely
get a robot
Sorry.
eye.
then he definitely won't be able to catch Kikine while he's flying if he loses his legs.
He gets
The
like,
amount-
he gets like bionic casts, so he's able to walk on them still.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I got like a couple questions about like Kikine versus Terma, and I was like, yeah, Kikine can fly, right? So the only way Terma's catching him is like dragons or some other BS out his arm.
He's gonna cut off his own right arm and just throw it.
Yeah. All right. Any idea when the GT6 summary will be out? That'll be April, I think. Is it coming out in May, or is it coming out in May? I can't remember. Or is it
I think
April?
so. It usually
Yeah.
comes out like 3 or 4 weeks before. I think.
Yeah, so like a month before. Can't believe I forgot the release date already. Probably because
Yeah.
I'm like so focused on the anniversary of Railgun that I'm like not thinking too far ahead into GC6 just yet. But I'm still really excited for it, obviously. All right, Sora. Oh, by the way, neither Cohen asked that question. Sorry, forgot to mention your name. Sora U777 asks, "What further development do you hope for?" That is very vague. Do you mean character development? Do you mean anime development? What development do you mean? I don't know if you mean character development. I don't know. This. Oh my god, we've got some Twitter questions now. Anyone want to decipher that mysterious question?
Let's see.
Toma
further
gets
development to-
back and marries Shokaho. That's the development I'm hoping
Yeah.
for.
I hope Kamachi puts me in Toaru. That's I don't know why he'd do it. I'd probably just be some useless background character that's I don't know. But yeah, put me in. I'll take even that.
Put me in the anime.
Bro,
Just make me a background character.
Yes.
Bro, that was me. Like on Twitter, I mentioned like because I think this YouTuber got like a role in like an anime, or I don't know if he's a YouTuber or he's like this this artist like rapper or something. But I was like, oh, give me the role of like one of Kamisato's harem or Alex the horse. Like I'll take anything. Like I don't care if I have to dub a horse or a harem member girl. Just get me in there, fly me off to Funimation, and I will do that happily. Or Mathers. Many saying I should dub Mathers. Oh yeah, I should dub Mathers in my Scottish accent. The shittest Scottish accent of all time. And I did that Mathers video. I was like, no, I'm the son of a bitch from Well, we won't repeat that video. Right. Next question. Anna Mass asks, "What's your opinion on people's what? What does is this grammar? Okay, let's try and read this question. What's your opinion on people's Saturn fans being able to hold up on her own, but then hating Toma because he isn't exactly powerless?" Right. So what I think he's trying to say is, yeah, Saturn fans.
They
I
like.
don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't know.
I think what they're asking is, what do you think of Satan fans enjoying Satan, but hating Toma because he's not like really a level 0 like she is?
Yeah,
Do
that's
those
what
people
you.
exist?
I don't know. I don't know.
Like, they hate the idea that Toma has the status of like he's a level 0 and powerless,
But
whereas
not quite.
like a level 0 and like actually powerless, but still does stuff without a Imagine Breaker or anything.
Yeah. I guess because people think like, yeah, Toma's. I guess from the anime, like Toma's got a plot armor and the Imagine Breaker. Like it's kind of like a contradiction because he's level 0 and got this really overpowered power, but it makes sense because it's not an Esper power, so it wouldn't be detected on the power curriculum, so it's fine. So I think those people are dumb. End of story.
Same. Calm down, Satan fans.
I don't think it's particularly Saturn fans. I think it's like the hypocrisy that they find
I'm a
Saturn.
Satan fan.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, like if anything, like Saturn fans are like the most wholesome people on like Earth because they just like vibe the characters so much. They don't really like cause any arguments or like drama or anything. They're just like chilling with Saturn. They just got like the Saturn vibe where it's like conspiracy theory, and I'm wholesome.
They're all watching Alex Jones and
wholesome Alex Jones sat in the nutshell. The frogs are wholesome.
I can imagine Satan going into like her group and being like, "Guys, did you hear about the frogs and what they're doing to them?
Guys, they're turning the frogs into espers. Trust me, guys.
I just read it on a website on one of the gossip forums. It's an urban legend. They're turning frogs gay.
No, they're turning frogs into espers.
They're turning the frogs into gay espers."
Hey, well, isn't Satan always right in the end?
Yeah. Oh no. That's why Kuroko's that way.
Oh,
she was
all right.
Experiment.
Let's move on. We got two more. Okay. Aris385 asks, "What type of future characters would you want to see?" I guess we already kind of answered this. Kind of.
I think he means like does he mean maybe like an archetype of a character you want to see more of?
Like OC
in the future?
I don't know.
OC?
Guys, you need to stop being vague in his questions. You need to fill us in. No, I'm not criticizing you. I'm just, it would help.
Well, I guess we're overdue for another right-hand user.
Oh, yes. I should make a video about like right-hand users.
No, mix it up. Give him a left hand.
Oh, evil left hand.
I always thought that before they introduced I can't even remember his name now. Harem boy. Kamisato, thank you. I always thought before they introduced Kamisato, if they introduced someone like Toma, that they would introduce like an opposite that used his left hand, but they stuck with the right hand. But
wasted opportunity.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, I guess right hand users, those are always interesting when they're thrown in. So
I feel like Toaru, unless my memory is just completely awful, I feel like Toaru doesn't have a lot of like deadpan sort of characters. I feel like everyone's pretty, I feel like there's a lot of high energy characters. The only like deadpan character I kind of think of is Takitsubo at the top of my head.
I think of Toma sort of like
Toma's deadpan?
In terms of like comedy usage, he tends to be whenever characters around him act dumb, he'll be
Yeah.
sort
Well,
of
he is
dead.
the straight man for sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, I guess if you're talking
Okay.
straight deadpan. Yeah, Taketsubo. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the only one I could think of, and there's like 500 characters. Maybe what's her name from Railgun S? Shinobu, purple-haired girl.
Yeah, Shinobu. Who's the other member of Item that
Kinuhara.
Kinuhara was deadpan in Railgun S, and then after,
Yeah,
for whatever reason that we've never been explained to, after meeting Hamazura, she suddenly became all gung ho.
she's super.
Super. All right. Last question from Oreo7. If you were to write a spin-off, what would it be about?
I sort of back on Amino, there was like a writing prompt contest that I
Oh
did.
yeah.
That my whole thing, my idea for a spinoff was following Fiyama and that group, and just sort of I wanted to see sort of a ground level, having Fiyama sort of relearn the magic world as somebody without his cheats that he had before, and like sort of explore the world and different like cultures of magic and stuff. While going around solving that, sort of like with a whole magic god subplot, basically like it would have been a prequel. It would be setting up the magic god Othinus arc from sort of their side.
Cool.
I think the first Toaru podcast I watched from you guys, Malcolm, I think it was you who brought up the idea of a Style and Kanzaki spinoff. And I've always, ever since I heard that, I've always thought that was a really cool idea. I would love to see something like that.
Yeah, I'm really just desperate for a Magic Side spinoff in any way. A Moxa spinoff would be really cool, but I think sort of Necessarius seems like the most obvious maybe for a spinoff.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, technically, Amakusa could still be involved in something like that, I think.
Yeah, I'm desperate for
yeah.
Kyrass?
For spinoff, yeah, I would say maybe a Fiyama spinoff. I'm not too sure. I mean, we could always use more Hamasura, but there isn't really much you can do with him.
give him a gun and just say go.
Yeah, give him a gun. Just say go.
Yeah.
Maybe
The idle Hamasura.
Oh no, nope. I don't need to see that.
Personally, yeah, I think we need a Magic Side spin-off because we've just had so many Science Side spin-offs. And
Yeah, give us a Kanzaki spin-off.
Well, we've had
yeah,
5, right? 5 Science Side. We have Railgun, Accelerator, Dark Matter, Astro Buddy, and Mental Out.
I think it's because
Yeah.
we have like a
Idle
set
Accelerator.
location for that to happen in, and like the Magic Side's just kind of all over the place. I think it's the issue.
I mean, I guess they sort of like. I think Kamachi sort of touched on the basic concept or like idea of what I want to see whenever he did the SS during Railgun T. It was the you remember which SS or what it was called? It was the Agnese Magic Sidework trial.
yeah. I mean, there's the side stories, but
Yeah,
those don't really count as spin-offs.
right. But what he did there is he had Agnese's group go around the world and sort of solve a couple incidents that were different Magic Side things, and that's sort of what I want to see. Not specifically from the Agnese group, but from just
Yeah,
I don't
for real.
Agnese, but I think they're one of the lesser interesting groups to follow.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, personally, I'd love to see Aqua spin-off, because just like see him doing like mercenary missions like across Europe, kind of like what Malcolm was on about or applying. I think that'd be really cool. Like to go into Aqua's backstory, or I mean, I guess you could do it kind of modern day if need be. Although you'd have to kind of work around him getting like double nerfed and stuff. But I guess it's possible.
I mean, alternatively, you could just have like they're all main characters, and each arc sort of switches between magic side groups, and it's not like one of them. You know, sort of like how Three Heroes. Like not every index novel is about Toma. Sometimes we'll get one that's really just focused on Accelerator, Hamazura. But I think just take that to the extreme and just we'll jump between random magic side groups and sort of just unlimited imagination. You're not really stuck to one thing. You can really write whatever you want.
Yeah, I think the reason why they haven't done the magic side spin-off yet is because I don't know if they think it's as marketable as the science side characters, since the science side characters have proven to be like more popular than the magic side characters. Because you look at like Terma, Misaka, Shokuho, Accelerator.
Easier for readers to understand since science is more grounded.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to present in a manga format rather than a novel format, because with the novel format you can actually explain the magic laws like better, I guess. Well, in like the manga format, science is easier to explain, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, that should be it. Thank you all for watching. I thoroughly enjoyed our time together. I'm sure you all have as well. Be sure to follow these guys down in the description. Some of them have YouTube. Emerald and Malcolm do. I don't think do you have a YouTube, Kyrass?
No, I have a Twitch that I don't really stream on, but it's there. Otherwise, my Twitter.
Yeah, I've linked your Twitter anyway in the description. So follow these guys. They are super cool people, as you can see. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the podcast. And yeah, we will be doing another one after the anniversary. So we'll discuss what's been announced and what hasn't, any missed opportunities, all that lot. So if need be, we can go on if need be, we can go on a drunken rant, or I will at least. Gives me any opportunity. Yeah. Get me on the rum again. All right. Thank you guys. And yeah, until next time. Bye-bye.